Good morning, or whatever it is, wherever you are. We need to go turkey hunting. Because you're not supposed to be there. Alright, can we figure out... This is not going to be... Well, okay, it's 19 something. Ooh, did that record our layers? Oh. Did I actually go below 40 at, like, the smallest? Weird. It was a startup problem. First, this is a little bit of a hard one to nail down. Maybe we could use that. So these are going to be what, about 16 maybe? I think if we zoom in, now they're going to be 8. So we got 16, well, 0, 8, right? 0, 8, 16, 17, 18, 19. And 8, 16, 15. So 19, 15. For this, I'm going to actually need to have like a cursor location thing. I kind of thought about doing that in general, but never got around to it. Now I had a -2, 1 if I was using the test earlier. Well, let's see. First of all, make sure, see if you got the right tile. So that's let's go with the turkey. 2174. It's a turkey. And we expect that to be different. Oh, I've got to get all the C stuff up. No, this is just run. This was based on the mapper, which was part of game source. And we'll have to get that command set up. Game source game is where we had our bootstrap commands. Is that get map? Get map. I thought it was game. Maybe it was in the map init function? Oh, it was get base map. Well, it probably is a get base map. Yeah, it probably is. $19, $15. But we should also recheck this. Okay, same answer. Yeah. I don't know why I can't find that. Wrong window. So we need to make and copy one life to mapping. Did I have a separate command for that? I should, which means I have to rebuild that if I need to run it again. Got map.exe. Yeah, it looks like I wasn't. And then in a subshell, change to uh-oh. Oh. Yeah, C doesn't like that. And then we need, is it out or stand out? Oop. Okay, I don't think we loaded some anim stuff. 2174. I'm pretty sure my data doesn't predate turkeys. And my code shouldn't predate off-biome moving objects. I mean, this is basically the same. Unless maybe the first generation did, but I don't. That feels like a pretty far go change. That's in get base map. Where's my object list? Moving true. A bunch of rare objects. Oh. So that's the biome image. It looks like it's still swamp. What did I do? Not that kind of image data. Biome image layer. Screenshot image layer. No, trailing comma is fine. Nope. That's still swamp tile. All right, so what I actually do need to do, though, is I need to turn off anything that would trigger map gen, so I don't spam myself. So picked biome, second place check. Peat map biome, second place, second place. Ooh, we don't have a reference to our random number here. Okay. Place. We've got picked biome, second place, and first place chance. Oh, it's weirding me out that the game is calculating a turkey there. So 5, 4, those are biome indexes. Okay, so it did roll. Secondary biome. But we should say I guess the interesting thing here is going to be biome object. Oh. I may have been following Jason's code on this. I'll have to, because that seems error prone. Return ID, biome objects I, it's just the ID. Biome object, objects. S. Okay, now, what the heck is happening here? Caps lock. Okay, I haven't all of it yet. Pick biome, check for moving object. Oh, you know what? I probably haven't loaded transitions. Load objects. Init object, init object bank. Init transbank start. Actually, this is the server code's going to be slightly more appropriate for my little super localized purposes here. Init object, init animation, init transbank. Oh, there's the rebuilding again. Okay, there we go. All right, what else do we put in here? These places. So that is just our singular call, which we should be kind of done with. All right, so anything transition based. Well, that was all the biome object checks. I think I'm looking around, I saw some, I thought there was a mosquito out of place. Now, mosquitoes are going to be pretty hard to tell on the base map. In fact, I dare say they're probably invisible. Yeah, you can almost barely see them there. Oh. I've got some sand problems out here. Alright, I might need some sort of mouse coordinate feedback. Because working out these coordinates is going to get pretty hard. Well, we know it's on an 80. Okay, I might be able to count up there. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is supposed to be a sand pile. So 880. Let's see, I think get map object raw is what does the blocking, so that's going to be the appropriate level to examine this, I think. Oh no, it's 88? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, you're telling me 0. You're telling me 2567. Which sounds about right in the overall. Oop, not 20. 2567. Sand deposit. So we found the drift. Alright, I think I pulled this out of my other code. Maybe I commented it. Okay, special object. Oh, but this is where we're going to spam ourselves. Okay, so this judged both of these to be sand piles in base map. This is in base map, right? Yeah, you're doing all the jackpot stuff. Get map object. Haven't started wide objects yet. Are there other concerns? Actually, I probably should have checkpointed moving objects, but White object blocking rift. No, they should have been a problem. Console.log, no object. Tall blocked. Very tall blocked. Alright, so we evaluate the map twice. We didn't get to very tall because tall blocked it. So was it a tall object which was itself blocked? So if sand piles are tall objects, how did this even appear? And unfortunately, I have to build like this version of the server to go into a world and look at it. Maybe this is one of the object caching bugs because, well, or we're getting different interpretations of tall objects. You know what? I'm using the one life object bounds, which I know includes a bunch of padding. I don't know why it includes a bunch of padding. But I did end up fudging that for some of my other visibility detection stuff. Alright, so I want to take a short break, and then I will investigate if we've got too much transparency on these things. We'll never use this unless it's the same priority as the issue. Now this might be designed for automation, in which case I would have to... Oh. That was bizarre, okay.
What? How did he not die from that? He was literally getting hit. And he just stopped getting hit.
Hey Nia, how's it going? Okay, perfect. No, baby! God damn it. I just can't keep a female character alive. What do I do? Gotcha. Right. Fahrenheit. I live in a country that uses ye old Celsius. So I was like, what? But that totally makes sense. 100%. Okay, let's get liquefiable stuff. This is ice and snow. Copy your settings over. Like that.
All right, welcome back. So this might actually, I might have to like revisit all of the height calculations to get this really nailed. So my recollection is it's around 15 difference. Okay, so that fixed that one spot. Now maybe it broke some other spots. I mean, that's really not a very interesting case. Special object. Oh, special. Object and random value. That's a rock. Yeah, that's a rock. Let's see. I guess I haven't looked at a mountain yet. Or an Arctic. I probably want to find one of the iron mines up here too, and make sure those are working. Okay, so there's ground iron. Forgot exactly where they were. Yeah, because that's going to be a really rare object, and that worked out okay. thought there was one in here somewhere. Oh, there we go. Okay, that generated. Let's see, I know where my 1 Terry spot was. That generated. Alright, well, I don't know about that 15 pixel fudge, but everything seems to be working correctly. Okay, so we're still printing out our A8. Let's see, so this was a object blocking test. This was a off biome moving object test, and this was a object bounds okay, yeah, all the biome object stuff. Let's see. Oops, that was not a replacement. Okay, you're good. All right, so we wide object. I think that's only man-made objects, so does the one tech data even have that flag? Well, that's probably going to be like a it's not shown here. No, mainly source. Okay, you do not consider that flag. If object wide, this is actually an object bank thing. Left and right blocking radius. And then we consider left and right blocking. Okay. You've got a data copy, right? This is going to be an object. Oh, everything includes left blocking radius. It's just 0 most of the time. Well, these are probably in blocks, and we probably don't have anything bigger than 1. Okay, I thought searching these once might not be so bad. I think it's mostly right blocking radius. Oh. This is 1 and 1. Oh, bear cave. Bear cave waking, bear cave empty. Okay, so it is not in fact a shown title. So that was actually a pre-existing facility. Oh, but that is a naturally spawning object. So I am going to have to account for that to properly do bear caves, which I was not paying super close attention to when I was looking at the map. This actually had very few bear caves. You know, I've been seeing objects here. Oh, maybe it only blocks other wide objects? So one of our recent maps, there was an iron mine there. Yeah, that's in both. It might only block like bear cave next to bear cave, and they're not that common to begin with. It almost feels like they were more common in the newer generations sets. Saw a lot of bears around. Here's like a bear jackpot area. Wait. Oh, okay, that is... Well, that's something. Yeah, okay. And you were a big enough object to not get blocked, I guess. So it hasn't come up yet, but that is a naturally spawning object with a wide blocking radius. Unfortunately, flat rock's got about the same color. So I'm going to need to add blocking radius And then those are the only raw information I need. I can infer wide from that if I care about wide. Rock jackpot. Yeah, actually not a lot of bear caves here, for the most part. Alright, so the code I'm interested in using... Now, I could still deprioritize that a bit. So this is like special object placement, which is actually in the server settings, not in the data settings. I might manually maintain this one or something. Because that is a very special case. I guess I could manually put it into the object output too. It was a server setting. Oh, and do I have that art? Because I may have processed this. It is Tar Monument, which is 3112. I do not have an object up right now. Special? Oh, it might predate my mapper. In which case, for reference, I'm just going to have to switch to live. Oh, map. Okay, so I probably have the image for it. Oops. Yes. That probably should be an object data file thing. But that would have to pull... Alright, what do I need to do? I need to get this. I need to we're on world gen. Yeah, that's probably what it was before, but my local copy of JSON Aurora Master probably isn't far enough behind that it matters for map gen. All right, get base map. Oh, get tweaked base map. Oh, did he rename get map object raw? That's sure what it looks like, which that's probably a fair renaming. Get possible barrier. That's actually a new function I hadn't seen before. Oh, there's get map object raw. Okay, this used to be just an inline check before. Okay. Get map object raw. Where is that reused? Okay, so that's for one of the decay systems. Oh, but get map object doesn't use tweaked? Get chunk message. A natural object should be there. So if you did manage, when I first looked at the barrier, it was just like, it's just there. Doesn't matter what you read, it's just there. And a get map object raw does use tweaked base map. But get map object uses get map object raw. Get map object raw it just skips some caching stuff. Does the barrier before, I think this used to be a little bit more inline. Before it checks the database, and then if there's no database, it gets that. Get tweaked. Does the wide and the tall. And special object? Where do you come in? Oh, you actually come in base map. Unlike the barrier. Well, maybe he wanted it to be possibly a pickupable object, whereas the barrier is absolute. Okay, -1. Well, it is. Oh, this is a different special object. There's like a special placements. Oh, special placements get placed at the start of the map. That's more of a database thing. So properly speaking, well, I mean, this should generally only exist for versions of the map. And I probably do need an effective date for it, but where we are going to have map data? Might have been like one before that. Now, is this only on... Is this every time we start up? or is this only when it's a clean map? This looks like it's pretty much top level in like a startup routine here. Yeah, because there's map dummy recall. So it's going to place that every time the server starts up. So it almost might as well be a permanent feature. So I could have actually done that. It's kind of a placement. I could have actually done that by like inserting it into the manual map placements. How does the effective date of that line up? Touching paths. No, that's that search. Okay. Misspelled something here. I think it's special. Support for special map placements. So that went in on 8.2. Probably went out with that release. So having all this stuff will just make it slower. We have, oh, okay, this is within our data time. Oh. That may have been a mid-art change there. So doing a little addition to our map placements ought to work there. And sadly enough, could have worked for a long time. I guess I considered it like a natural object, but it's not really a natural object. Well, that's gonna be both of our map logs. And then what is 00312 is the extent of that information. So we've got our different ages. We've got our rifts. I might need effective ranges on these. For now, we only need start times. Nothing particularly close here. I guess it's possibly push the... No, that should be the commit time. 2011:35. I think that's going to be in my time zone. X0, Y0. Is it ID? Oh, this should be an array. I mean, I guess I could have a build process that went and fetched get, but I fetched that one file. If I did it to the CDN, it wouldn't be too bad. Maplog sprite. Well, it's not like maplog sprite. It is key placement. Is key placement sprite. Well, there's actually two versions. I know I deleted the box version of this. So when we load stuff up, go XY ID, not a floor. You don't care about time. So this is if our data time sort. Not thrilled about doing a prepend on an array, but the first one doesn't matter as much. It would be like an unshift. Oh, this is more of a concat to work in general. This is not the mod, this is the map. Now this does depend, this is a time dependent thing. So we've got our data time. No, it just should be just layer options. Layer.options. Data time. Oh, this is about each potentially has a time. And it's gonna be tile. do a split, we do a map. That's kind of the first time we have the entire array. Special map placements dot filter. Return if place.msstart is greater than layer.options.datatime. And we're not actually using object layers yet. Object overlay. Well, that made it think a lot. I turned these off, right? Oh, I must have been testing opacity on key placement. Oh, right, because I was using the sprite layer for my object overlay. Which should really have been the object. Object overlay sprite. Oh, no, that's 40. Okay, that did not work. Key placement sprite. Oh, I'm concatenating this as a 0, 0 in all of them. We also have to know if you're in range. So that is start x, and so we're counting on only having data that was relevant to us. And place.x is place.x is less than or equal to cell width, which is still poorly named. And then if, just to avoid some extra memory operations here, but cancel.log, at least one of these we would expect to successfully filter that. So, what condition is failing? Now, clearly time was sufficient before. Oh, data time is probably a string? No. 1564. No, if it's less than. If we're doing something that is after that time. Oh. Okay, so my position check is failing pretty hard, though. Maybe cell width is not. Maybe it's width, not. Yeah, okay, so it's always cell width is always the same. So we probably don't even have a value for that. Oh, no, do we have an index and y? We'll have to assume that these things are never... Oh, right, because this is filtering in the post offset space. And shoot. But if we add them, we have to offset them. And we need to make a new object out of it. So we don't modify that one. So I guess I could map and then check, but it should just be an empty array if that is not there. And we managed to break it. All right, 0 to 4, 3 to -1. Am I not looking at 0, 0? At 0, 0. No, 3 to -1 should include 0. It's a little bit weird, but that range includes 0. Oh, let me guess. No. -4 to 0. 3 to -1. Yeah, but y is inverted. So you get this weird thing. And I guess I could also invert the signs. This is specifically to kind of be in line. Or a less than order. I didn't do it. But you're true, 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 true. So why does that work? Oh, because it's also negative. Yeah. And is this a weird time within this? Oh yeah, this is the start, which or very early. I lost my 0, didn't I? Oh, maybe my time was altogether weird. Oh, right, because time mode hasn't implemented this yet. This actually got a little bit obnoxious size-wise. Okay, load tile. Sort by strict time. Do we have a start time? We have the time of all of those. We have a current time. The only timestamp I can do is to take the timestamp of the first element. Tile.keyplace. Okay, it's not what I called it here, apparently. This is going to tile.maplog. I guess I could set it up to always add it to the keyplace. When we do tile at. Oh, there was time until the first placement. You know what? Could I actually just say 0? Hmm? Maybe it has to be 1. to be considered valid. From the perspective of that individual time stream, it has always been there. And I think we do have some arcs where it would not always be there. Don't need to be full-time mode. So we go back below 4. 802, there was the first one. And it's just a map. Notes. Well, that was one life anyway. This could have actually been done on the base thing, because it only depends on the objects, but oh well. For some reason, I thought that would be a base map thing. All right, now the rift might be interesting because the sprites that one tech gave me are like white. Oh, right, never generated sprites here. This is going to be, like, darn near the end of time here. Yeah, so I might have to do some effects on these. And then our problem is changes over time. But I guess I need everything working first. Shoot. And see, the rift is something that we could have easily backported. Well, some code moved around. But actually, these two go together with data processing, so that makes a bit of sense. Oh, I need to... Do I need to switch back? I just need to look at it. Let me recall map.cpp barrier, if barrier on. Which we have some rift information. It's not very precise, but we have the information. We have the barrier radius. Make sure we don't stick out. Maybe he's reusing that for other things, but this is like, if it's exactly equal, and then he's doing additional range checks? Oh no, this is, they're on the line. But you could have it where they would continue off to the edge. Okay, so that returns 0. Well, everything else just... Okay, so that could all be done as one big check. I think. We've got yet another random seed. And we need a barrier item list, which is going to be a server setting again, not a something that's in the object repository, I think. Yep. All right, so Rift. Rift history. Num options. Random doesn't always look good. Maybe it means like pure random? I don't know. All right, so this is, well, this is just a function, for one. It is called from getMap object raw, which has been refactored. So we first have to refactor to kind of keep parity. So actually, everything here is in get tweaked base map. Granted, I don't have the reason, the need to separate these in the same way he does, but it's helpful to have similar structure. I'm going to need the seed for this. You see, you return 0, so we could actually cheap this a little bit. Vessel barrier. Now this I don't have screenshots of, so it probably won't matter if I nail the random part exactly. Oh. I'm going to have extra parameters here. Because this depends on the current time in Rift history. I mean, this can just be if true. And so we've got the equals. Oh, right. Those are an and. This is an or. That's probably why he separated them. It's a big long or and then a big long and. Well, this is Rift history stuff again. So to have our radius, we need this. I've got a lot of numbers in here. So for proof of concept work, it is 354. In y equals Barrius radius, or in y equals if. Now you see this, I typically will organize differently. Oh, and this is an and condition. I guess I could have copied this line. XX seed options dot barrier seed. There's no reason to think this is going to change over time. We need to put this in options. Of course, there's no reason to expect the seed is going to change either, but all my other seeds are. Oh. Hmm. Could. I would have to negate this entire thing. To do all the early escapes. To avoid indent like crazy. It would be a bunch of and not equals. And then. Okay, fine. This sort of makes sense. This is a somewhat easier logical flow to follow. That's a simple escape. XY random. Get XY random. It's an XY random. Num options times. I mean, like this is one of those things that shouldn't happen. But it's defensive programming. Oh, I guess internally it's barrier item list. And that's just an object check. Oh, we don't have base objects on now, do we? Now this is in the Arc Age, well, somewhere in the Arc Age, he changed the spawn rate of bears, so that's a time issue we have to deal with. Oop, option is not defined. Oh, and we actually have to add options. We had a big thing. Object something. Object layer uses object generation options. Nine, 2, 3, 8, 5, 9, 7. This is not even a super critical thing. It's just to give you variation. That it matches exactly is And for some reason, oh, I'm still like offsetting this for testing purposes. Where is my object layer sprite? Oh, oops. That was the wrong one. No, actually, you were opacity. Oh no, that's the general type of layer. This is the actual instance. Where is that offset? Sprite layer. Oh, this is another thing where I did it at the sprite layer. That's where it would affect everything. Now, sprite layer probably should have a... Is that just offset of 0 as a default? I mean, maybe it's supposed to have that up-down variation. I feel like maybe not. So maybe there are item-specific... Now, that would probably look okay-ish. Oh. I must have transposed some digits here. That's better. So now what is the... So is the white a one tech thing to make it look better on their dark background? Or is the game doing some sort of drawing mode that makes it black? Can I possibly... one life data. Well, we've got our barrier objects. Nope, didn't type fast enough. Okay, so the underlying sprite is something else. Huh. So that means there are less sprites than objects. I don't know if it'd be worth trying to build things up from bits, but... Beard. Internal cam. There's beard again. Hair. Well, shoot. Maybe... Huh, is that from objects or animations? Do you contain your sprites? Okay, 2080, 880. Or not, 2880 or 2880? Okay, that is the raw file, so he's doing some effect to it. He's drawing it with a color. I don't know if I can do that in Canvas. So that's probably like a color multiplied by the object. No, multiply, thank you. Well, yeah, there's these which might be able to do it. Doesn't have samples. The CSS modes are probably the same. But these are CSS modes. It matters. What the canvas can do. Let the composite operators. It's not a good one. I think I was trying to look for filters before when I found the other blend mode. Yeah, that's experimental. I found a decent reference the other day. This is some other kind of canvas. Maybe it was operator. No, not JavaScript. Canvas API. Transform global composition operator. Huh. So there's darken. I don't think that'll quite do it though. It'll make it dark where it's dark? Because that, yeah, the white is pretty much left untouched. I would need the white area of the new content to end up black. And there is no existing content, really. So the only thing I could think to do is maybe I actually have to take that image series, turn it into a canvas, and then use some sort of drawing operator to only draw black where there's white. So this says we only draw red where there is blue, but we leave the blue? Source atop? Unfortunately, well, do we have an object fetcher? Because mostly we just make images, load images. Object images. But for the barriers, we need to be able to do the color operation. So it'd be nice if object images, I guess we would say, okay, if you're a barrier object, then we're going to do a slightly different process. So first off, what do we do with that? Well, I mean, this is something. And in fact, where Rift overlay, okay, so I need fill false, color black. Oh, rectangles. Do you have min and max zoom? So this would be min zoom. Maybe it's max zoom. We want it to cut out below that. Okay, rectangles don't do that. which means the Rift overlay also needs to change every time we change zoom if I want to get rid of that version of it. Admittedly, it will just kind of hide in the black once we get that done. I still feel like the positions are off, but it's like everything else was dead nuts on. Maybe other objects don't use the same kinds of offsets as much? Hmm. They've got a bunch of individual pauses. Now, what if I supposed to do one tech to account for that? Or rather, they seemed to do before, because I was getting like perfect matches on trees and things. Anyway. We were looking at checkpoint. So we've got some problems here. So the Rift needs to depend on Rift history. So that it's in the proper place. It also needs to be black. Oh, you know what? What else I'm not doing? Object generation needs to work with placement layers. That's a little detail we're missing. Which maybe means I should focus on that instead of on a rift drawing, but if barrier objects dot index of placement dot id is not equal to -1, or if it is be the default case. We do that. No, that would be else. Now, those would be very similar, but does that work? In the same way, and dynamically create a canvas. No, this is a create element, not a new image. So you are going to be a canvas. And then we create this, we load it. We really only care about the canvas. And then on load, we need to do stuff. Get context. Oh, there are some other images. That's kind of a default option, but is it fill rect? And actually, we use this a couple of times. And when I was trying to read this during drawing, it actually slowed things down a lot. I don't think it's necessarily going to matter as much here, but oops. All right, just to see if we get something. Okay, so that is definitely a nothing. So when we're drawing sprites, oh, that's actually here. Oh, they never say they're complete. And it does say draw image. Hopefully that works with canvas. Okay. Seemed like that may have took a little extra time, but it worked. So what if we did just a basic background and image at probably, and this might be 0. Or it might be the center rather. We're getting a lot of extra black. But I said fill with red? Must not be fill. Is it fill style? There we go. All right, so now what we wanted to do with this, and actually having the background there might mess this up, is source at top. Oh, no, we want to do this. Okay, now what if we make this okay, that works. So this one appeared to be affected by the alpha of the base layer. This is not true. Yep, wrong operator. Oh, that was a change. Aha! So I'm still afraid they might be offset a little bit, but that looks pretty decent. Oh, my line's still in there. So... I might want to have that disappear when we're drawing objects. And they're really popular. There's potentially a color on every object. Hey, Geester, how's it going? Alright, so we've got that. We might want to... drop out rect, but I'm going to do that myself because rectangles... Ah! Yeah. I know he was uncertain which day he was going to do that on. Ah. Oops, I actually committed that. Hello. Oop. So we've got a, is it rift layer? Rift overlay? No, rift layer by time. Goes by set map time. I am trying to emulate the in-game map with a web map. So it's just a lot of little details. I've kind of gotten off into some other things. Well, I mean, these are treated as naturally spawning objects, so that's sort of relevant. But now that I've got that, I'd like to drop out the line I was using. But that only happens on time. I also need to do this. By map zoom. Yep. This is mostly generated. If we go back to when these objects are actually probably for... Yeah, because my testing layers are very testing right now. If we go back here, these are tile maps. And they're all tiled to some extent, and like in the underlying code. But once we start getting out, actually these are probably tile maps too. But if we go back to, oh, actually it's not even in this server. Oops, and I had that turn on life data. If we go back to these are all soft generated. And then all of the arcs are generated off the seeds. And well, and then there's tiled map data. Or it can actually get down, and this might not be a good arc, but... And see the towns. Well, yeah, it's all great to say you like it, but with the arcs changing all the time, it's just not practical to generate it. So what I've been working on, well, recently, so let's actually pick the server time. Actually, well, yeah, even doing the arcs and... actually, the other servers are kind of orphan right now. As far as that stuff goes. So if we come back to here, yep, this is 1hour1life.com by Jason Rohr. It is a massively multiplayer game where you are... Uh-oh. Let's go another reset. I could probably poke the map server for that. Small servers, huh? Well, I mean, small servers in general, but you don't really have the, well, even the defensive masses doesn't always work that well. Anyway, what I was working on today, is, well, actually, if we zoom into any of these, you can see that my images only go so far. They're kind of blurry. Is actually generating these objects so we can use the full resolution. Now, I won't have the backgrounds. That backgrounds will be a whole nother battle. But if we did look at this on their server, no, actually, because the servers all used to be the same. Made sense at the time. Oh, and I have not made this. This needs to be conditional on time as well, or on whether the rift exists as well. But that's where we're at right now. Yeah, I don't know. I've had some trouble with griefing lately, so maybe a stream snipers. Nobody was making a point of it. Okay, so this is that. Right now. Yeah, I think that he kind of thought of the big black border as a temporary thing, but it's still being changed a lot, so it's hard to say if that will be its final form. But maybe if everything else settles down and he'll see about making it look more like an island. Yeah. All right, so if we have a time, which right now MapGen itself doesn't care about time. Individual layers could perhaps have the relevant rift history attached to them. Although I think in some cases it changed independently of the arc. So that was picking a layer. We don't actually want the layer in this case. Well, we've got two things. First of all, we want the rift to the rift object to respond to time, which means all of our map gen stuff is going to have to be able to pass down time option as a world generation option. I do have a global map time now. I could cheat, maybe. Oh, set map time. We set rift layer by time. So actually, this could kind of set up. It's a little bit cheating, but we don't really need to ever display more than one at a time. Where is... Rift options. Actually, it would be barrier radius. Would do it. But you can actually be just not on. And we do rift layer by time. IE radius. Oh no, you're just a rectangle. So I'm going to have to duplicate this a little bit. Because we need this as data now. And I could probably get that out of the rectangle, but we kind of just want to have this at hand. Radius 354. I mean, radius undefined is actually kind of accurate. And then when we do get map object barrier something, get possible barrier, this just becomes available. And if okay, so that failed. Did I get it backwards? No, it's just always on. Oh, that's going to be very spammy, but it's all null. No, we've established it's not there. Aha. We're in arc mode now, so... Oh, nope. So probably we're looking up our barrier radius. Why are we drawing it if... we're fairly certain it's null? Oh, so sometimes it's null and sometimes it's not. Did I just land at a point in history? No, this would be way too old. Okay, we said it once. 15691566. Current time greater than you. Oh, but we never come in here and say, we're going to reset this in case it's not found. Oh. That worked initially. Oh, no. You know what? We probably don't refresh. There's nothing that does a time-based refresh of object layer right now. But object layer isn't necessarily a thing. That's normally going to exist. So if we can get it to re-render, it might be okay. So this puts us back down into... It depends a bit. It really puts it down to this. Actually, this... yeah, these kind of go together because they're object data stuff. But that means that our rift layer by time... well, it's more like game-related stuff. I was working on a lot more map gen stuff, so it kind of felt more like game development than web development. But it's not my game. It's Jason Aurora's game, and I'm just making a map for it. Ah, yeah. That's a little bit more, maybe solidly in... I think there's like a music and performing arts. Oh, but yeah, it's tags, so yeah. Maybe that's the top level category, and then it's a game development related thing. Alright. So, rift layer by time. Okay, so this has a map. Well, it might have a map. Getting map state, get zoom. So this is going to say... Because rectangles don't have cutout area levels. So we have to do it ourselves. Well, I doubt layer groups do either. No. And we generally only draw objects at 24. Zoom is, well, it'll eventually get this going for everything, hopefully, in some form. How about we say greater than or equal to 24, we're just going to return there. Well, no, because we actually have to do this detection, and that stays null. Oh, but I just need the barrier radius for you. Zoom, and zoom is less than 24? We have no layer? Need to be in rift times. So these objects are probably just all wrong right now. Well, I still need the rift. Okay, that's visible. Okay, so that's... Oh, no, this is, if not zoom, because I could have had no map. Oh, is that the only call to this? Yes. Okay, so that exists. We haven't done a time update. Actually, need to be one of the other edges. Because where the trees cross over, you can tell whether there's a line there or not. Okay, that did not come back on. $23. Well, now it's on. $27. Oh, I need to hook this up to happen during zoom changes. It's going to be... We get a map on zoom end. Layer by time at current map time, and we have a map, and this is where passing the zoom directly starts to get repetitious. We know we've got a map here. Okay, that's there, no line. Object generation falls out, and we've still got a rectangle. Maybe it should actually stick around for like one more layer. Yep, that was a double. Very expensive drawing. Oh, and notes. This is probably going to follow from this. Because each of those will have a different biome seed and their generation parameters. They'll end up with an object layer, I think. Okay, I'm beginning to hear myself on that, but that was my to-do list. All right. So the other big one here, this is obviously not jungle here. May or not be too big right now. Is right now we've just got this like testing layers. I might have actually used something like just the object layer when I was just doing stuff on top of these biomes. But when we start getting into towns, and I may have stopped at kind of a random place. Okay, so there. We start getting into towns, we're going to have to interact. Yeah, this is the wrong biome. Interact with all of these placements. So a key placement sprite. You don't yourself have biome generation options. Add arc placements, which depends on a bunch of object stuff. Biome layer. Okay, so seed is actually a top level thing. Oh, well, there's your start and end. So maybe I would have that for placing the monument. Layer group biome layer. Oop, skipped it. And then that's the arc layer. But I think because these are going to have to be able to sort of change that base layer, we're going to have to like be able to start with that and then play the logs onto it. So you just get, okay, you have a start and an end. You just have an end for your data time. So you're going to need this seed. Seed layer. Do we need any? Okay, that was the biome layer. Biome layer, overall layer, null, name. Create arc biome layer. he's got a bunch of different parameters. Which we need to be able to generate biomes to generate objects. Alright, where did I extract my generation parameters to? Well, oh, maybe that was not the only copy. Object gen. Oh, this is object generation options. Alright. Which is going to be kind of a superset of biome generation options. Oh, right, I was only doing this in compete before, so that's something I may have to parameterize. So that's going to need you. Biome offset scale, fractal roughness, biome map. No, biome. Okay, I had it in a different position. Biomes. Oh, right, this is all the special stuff. This is all. Well, biome map I'm not sure about, but. It was working. Biome colors is only needed for the actual biome layer. Grid is for objects. Biome seed special. Topographic biome total weight. This is something else for the topographic stuff. So I might want to pull this out into like biome generation options. And if we end up with the colors there, oh well. And then object generation options necessarily need to have all the biome options. Although some of those are going to need to get overridden. Generation options. Actually, no, biome colors could stay a biome layer thing, I think. This is biome generation options. Then... Except you are... I think it's object.assign. So we've got all that stuff. And also... Oops. Also that. So now you Biogeneration options. Yeah, that broke something. Okay, that's typed correctly. What did we end up missing here? Is my object assign order wrong? Target source. What did I do? Well, okay. So object.assign on this would overwrite them? Okay. All right. So that looks fine. Wait. Does it only assign where the value exists? No, that can't be right. Biome offset. What? Target source. I didn't hit save. Properties in the target object will be overwritten if they have the same key. Enumerable and own properties. Merging new properties if the merged sources contain getters. So their example, A, B, B, C. ABC. Oh, wait. Okay, this one lost a sign. I didn't know that a constructor existed. Okay, so you're fine. Oh, and this is what I copied from, but I swear I had that before. What? What? There's no indication that it's like a prototype thing. Do I have a constructor in this one? No. Oh? Right, they might not be... Okay, So biome... Wait, biome layer? Seems like it's getting a lot of options to me. Oh, wait. Well, part of it is... Yeah, okay. This was with the object stuff. Which was below the biome stuff. I am... Let's create arc biome layer. Wait, you're... Oh, create arc biome layer. I don't know why it's not complaining about the lack of a variable there. Well, it's like Crucible. Or it's drawing at a really different scale for some bizarre reason. What? Does this at least... No, arg is still none, but I know I'm passing options to it. No. Maybe this is getting overridden by other layers? And yet it's getting called. Wait, argument 0. Oh. I copied something with a different argument order. That's a little bit better. I mean, my object layer is just wrong, but the biome is not completely broken. Alright, maybe now it's actually in scope, and I'm disappointed I didn't get a warning about that. Okay, that will make all biome generation options available to object generation, which we had just enough for that particular kind of, or generation of world gen. Oh, we actually did sort of lose that, but maybe we're passing that elsewhere. All right, so the biome layers are going to get like seeds. That's arc.seed. Start and end. Maybe that was used for selecting the layer. Oh, wait, that was creating arcs. Map log. And that was updating arcs. Let's create the arc biome layer, which has a bunch of stuff that depends on time. So I'm going to need to abstract biome generation, time-dependent biome generation parameters. And then we've got this stuff. Which is mostly just creating time-dependent parameters. But these were very manual. Maybe I could just say... give me an actual biome layer and I'll just get its options. Because by the time we do that, we should have this. But do I want to try to cherry pick that, or could I take everything? Well, there's the arcs, and there is, like, these things are going to have generation 2. Maybe what I need to do is have some sort of constructor function. Well, for a pure natural gen layer, you could have biome layer plus object layer. Have it return a group. For arcs, we've got the key placement and the map logs. Which need to be, take the objects and update them. So we need some sort of so maybe I need to work on base maps for the other generations, which can mostly kind of go off default options. And the ages will be one of those compound. Yeah, because it's just biome. Now we do have the object layer, which in non-Rift, well, eventually I'll have to deal with updates. At which point, these as separate layers might have to drop off in favor of a more pure time-based thing. This is easier to express the difference. So for generate once, my existing object sprite layer might work. But all of this stuff is happening after biome layer before object layer. Oh, that's right. You don't like to resplit. Just layer pixel, sprite layer. Is here. Yep, that's actually right below all that stuff. So before we define all our layers, we have to define this. And define all our data stuff. Object overlay. Chord organization is another thing that kind of needs to get worked on. All right, so biome layer. Object overlay sprite. Let's see. So I guess what you'd have to pass is like common options to both of them. So a biome layer bit is going to look like that. Object overlay sprite may look a little bit like that. All right, so we've got, yeah, we've got different zoom ranges. So this is going to be, I mean the array. So then your argument would be biome map here. Or whatever other generation options. I guess for in this case, we should merge it into this, which should be kind of a one-off thing. So that's the stuff that's all specific to object layers. And then you so basic Badlands age. And I might leave the special case alone. No, I didn't see jungle. It's already a layer group. Oh, because that's biome image layer. And it's got a screenshot layer, so other than outside. That's an extra special thing. We only have the images near the center. Oh, we need to do deferred adding of these. And I did too much at once. Well, this was only add. That could still be a problem, though. All right, so right now, we've only done these. Well, that's something. It's not responding well to zoom, though. What? Yes, this is probably the load order thing. Interesting that we got something, but a very weird something it is. Oh, maybe it's just the area we're looking at? No. And those don't look quite like the right types of objects either. Those look somewhat reasonable, but man, why are... Why are the images all... I mean, that would be okay for here. That should be just the same. Granted, I hadn't really tested it under different biome maps. Oh, you know what? Where is... Yeah, get base map. For one thing... Well, no, undo. Okay, that one's fine. But we have to use that for special biomes, don't we? Topographic. Regular biomes limit. Oh, maybe that's re-implemented. Was there something else that I had to move into the options? Nope. This might be a deferred loading thing. This is all original world, but it loads fine. Well, or maybe I just have to revisit this whole algorithm from the perspective of the later developments in map generation. All right, so we think that's correct. It still seemed to be working in that. That wasn't a bigger arc than I thought. Shoot, this might get them mixed up. Yeah, because we also moved stuff, it got very, very confused. Shoot. All right, so what we did accomplish, somewhat successfully. So this has to move into object generation options. Okay, sure. We can't actually do anything. I saved this where overlay was off? No. Reference error. Oh. Right. Compute map biome index has to be in options. You got that before. This is all wrong. It's the wrong map. And what was my little change? Compound biome object layer. And what was our difficulty with that? Object load time issue, I guess. Oh, probably that might just be a re-rendering issue. Get rendered at one size and then, well, I mean, maybe, but we also have to re-render on zoom change. Which leaflets should really be doing for us anyway. Oh. Random edit. Use biome function for objects. Now the other things might need the other parameters, which is where we go back to, this is where we get to the big move. Do we? Well, the biome generation options have to be above biome layer. And color is actually the one thing that's a little bit more specific to this layer. And we're going to reuse those options, so we want to merge into this. Really, all the way up there? I guess you have to go through all the members of that structure. Okay, so biome itself seems fine-ish. And then object generation options. So we've got that, we've got that, we've got that, we've got that. We've got biome map, we've got seed offset, seed scale, grid, density, present, second place, jackpot, barrier is all object stuff. Okay, so no errors. What was the big thing I had to transpose? Oh, I was moving object generation above all of those things so we could define compound. Which we could probably do that just to get that change out of the way when we go make other changes. Because we're going to need it to define all of this stuff. Wait. What are you if you're not defining... Okay, oh, yep, got into tile data cache. So we generate that, we do biome, and then update arcs, might need to move around biome layer, creating biome layers. Okay, I keep putting off organizing things better. Be get like required JS, a bunch of different files or something. Okay, I think... we're moving around a lot. There's one of our zeros. Okay, I don't have the images offset right now, but it feels pretty good. Oh wait, did I move it above? And no errors. Okay, 823. No, I did not. Okay. Yeah, below biome layer, above. All right, so if we define those as compound, why wouldn't leaflet handle re-rendering them? Unless it's an object loading issue. Because before, I didn't add the overlays until we knew objects were loaded. The object master was loaded. So this is going to have to follow the same kind of logic as add arc placements, where I didn't even create those layers until we had object data. But we had the arcs to define all the data we'd need. Well, and some functions that got called. So I might need an abstraction of Yeah, object load timing issues are probably part of it. That should really be a leaflet thing. We might need to create them after objects load, but that's going to be like abstracting the parameters that go into those. So we might be collapsing all of these into some sort of arc-like thing. We can get all the necessary parameters from that object. And then create both immediate layers and object layers as data comes in. Or just create no layers until object data comes in. That might make it... I'm not sure that works with this control. All right, so that was just that note, right? Yeah. So yes, unfortunately, all of that timing stuff is more than I can handle right now. So I need a break for lunch. Thanks for watching. Thanks to everybody who hosted me. What do we got? This is about when I'm usually on. So Wednesdays are working out, and unfortunately, right now I'm not planning to be back till Friday. Gotta go actually make some money. All right, well. For some actual game dev, although right now it looks like it's modeling stuff. Makings of Heroes working on an RTS MOBA. So if you're looking for someplace cool to hang out, that's someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Goodbye, and until next time.